Hey, fire detectors suck. Can we be serious about that? I just disconnect them.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
And this, I'm from a guy who's been in a legitimate house fire too.
Have you?
I don't know if that's part of my story.
At your own home?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He's getting all excited now.
Yeah.
He's going, oh, really? Really?
I'm upset I wasn't there. That's all.
He's like, what? Did you have an infant in a crib? He's all excited about it.
No kids.
Welcome to The Aggressive Life. We're coming up on 350 episodes on The Aggressive Life. And we've never featured someone from one of the most aggressive occupations there is, that is of a firefighter. Every day, these men and women, they clock in, they put their lives on the line, or someday it's just a boring day where they sit around the station and play checkers. I don't know what they do. We're going to find out today. But when other people just sort of run around with meaningless lives, these guys have some really meaningfulness because they're actually helping save lives and serve all of us who live in a community where we're served by first responders, by firefighters. So I was wanting to have this conversation. Who amongst us when we were a little kid didn't at one point say, I want to be a firefighter. I want to be on a red engine. I want to have a Dalmatian. I don't even know. We're going to find out. Are Dalmatians a real thing? Guys have Dalmatians at the firehouse?
They used to, but dogs are coming back. We can get into that a little bit for therapeutic purposes.
And do you have subs?
Subs for the dogs?
Firehouse subs?
Not yet.
No, not yet. So the first professional fire department was established actually right here where I am. I'm inside the city limits of Cincinnati, Ohio, back in 1853. Cincinnati has also become home to one of the first ever steam-powered fire engine invented by local entrepreneurs. It's a precursor to the big red engines that we know today, and also probably why the Cincinnati Reds in the 70s were known as the Big Red Machine. It's kind of the fireman heritage. Joining me in the studio today, I have one of Cincinnati's finest. Denny Baker is a fire lieutenant. He's an engine company instructor. He served the city of Cincinnati for nearly 30 years. 30 years, and the bulk of that has been spent with engine number 12. They average 3,000 calls a year, around 8.5 calls a day. His aggressive path has taken him all over the city in a lot of precarious situations, saving lives, helping people, serving people. Hey, let's welcome to The Aggressive Life, Denny Baker.
Thanks, Brian. Good to be here. Like I told you, it's an honor to be here. I'm very humbled because I could give you a list of firefighters that I think should probably be sitting in this chair right now. So it's an honor to hopefully represent them in the fire service.
Well, they're not, and you are.
Right.
So you're qualified.
Well, thank you.
Well, let's go back to the beginning. When did you see yourself or want to be a firefighter?
I'll go back as far as saying I never didn't see myself as a firefighter. It's a family business for us.
Really?
So I'm going to go back to my great uncle, who was a Cincinnati fireman, came on in the 40s, late 40s, early 50s. That in turn inspired my dad and his three brothers. So all four boys started at Delhi Township Fire Department on the west side. And that just snowballed. Two of those brothers, my dad was not one of them. He stayed as a volunteer. Two of them stayed and did a whole career full-time there. Myself and my cousin came on in the 90s at Delhi Township, worked part-time. My brother came on maybe 8 years after that. So everybody's passed through at some point over on the west side. And then as we went after full-time careers in the early 90s, they weren't as easy to get in the county. And it's not easy now. I shouldn't say that. But doors open and God had a path, and we were able to, my cousin and I, we left Delhi, got hired full-time at Middletown for a brief time, and then the doors opened up for us at Cincinnati. So family legacy, and now, so brother, my cousin is my captain. We worked at Engine 12 together, and for a short time, my brother was there, so they called it the bakery. So last name Baker. It was fitting for about 9 months. But yeah, so that's where we landed. And my son, oldest son, I have four boys. The oldest one is following that career path, and he's been full-time 2 years now at Green Township and they're doing great things out there. So that's another good, solid place to work. So I never, that's a long answer to, I never knew anything. Or I can look back at pictures, and I have one in my scrapbook at 3 years old, sitting at the edge of a couch with a fire hat on, and a mom sewed on a little patch on the shirt, and driving the fire truck. It was the couch, but I never knew anything different. That's all I've ever wanted. So, that's a blessing too, because I know some young people do struggle with where do I go in college and trade schools and never get it figured out. And I've had that path laid out for me from the get-go.
So do you feel then it was just a family identity that you walked into instead of you fell in love with firefighting lifestyles when you saw a movie when you were 10 or something like that? You just you grew up in it. That was always just what you wanted to be.
Yeah, I saw my uncles and my dad doing it. My dad and the volunteer service, they're leaving from home. So I would see him respond from two calls from home in the station wagon with the big bar light on top. And just always intrigued. I know my parents got a call, if I remember it right, or a talk with the teacher in grade school. The school was right down the street from the firehouse. And they said, Denny's always distracted when the fire trucks go by. Still a thing today. But so it's always been there, just kind of a family legacy. So you do see a lot of that in the fire service. It's just a calling within the family, or a legacy, I guess.
My dad was a volunteer EMT. I think it was EMT. We had, back where I grew up in Murraysville, Pennsylvania, they had two actual volunteer ambulance departments. Okay. They were competing and warring with one another. It was really weird. Rescue 4 and Rescue 5, and they eventually combined it in Medic 1, which I don't know if that's the case anymore. But yeah, he got all the training and all that stuff, and then he would, I can't remember how many nights a week, that was his volunteer service to community. He'd be out and you come back with stories of sticking his finger in somebody's chest, plugging blood and all that stuff,
Yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty cool, man. I don't know if we are cultivating that sort of service to community like it seems like it was around in previous generations. Do you agree with that?
I would agree with that, and it's hard to judge that in our area because we have so many paid professional firefighters and paramedics and EMTs. But you get in the rural area, and I don't have the numbers for you, but the bulk of the fire service in our country is volunteer. And for whatever reason, I think you're right, that volunteer service is struggling. And whether that's, everybody's working double jobs and they just can't respond, they're not at home to respond from home. I don't know the answer to that, but I know some areas. And then there's major departments up east that are all volunteer, and they're thriving. So I think it depends on where it is. But yeah, I don't know where we're missing the boat there on the calling of the fire service.
What do you think draws somebody to be a volunteer? Is it they want to quote unquote give back? Is it that they want some male bonding and female bonding with other people? It gives them something to do. It's like a bowling league. Is it? What do you think draws someone to do that?
From the people I talk to, they just want to serve their community. There's guys I know. I work at a training center in Indianapolis, Fire Department Training Network, and a lot of the guys that they're retired from Boston and Buffalo and New York City, and they still volunteer in their own communities. I think it's that calling to give back to the people you live with in your hometown. Like I said, I never went through that. The volunteer service was gone from Delhi when I came on, but I definitely saw my dad do that, and I know that was of course, the other things come with it, the camaraderie and the brotherhood and, just hanging out and doing some cool stuff together is part of it. But I think what drives people into the volunteer aspect is serving the people they live with. So
if you're volunteering, how does that work? Do you have a scanner at your house and you hear it and you got to show up, or is there a firehouse that when you're volunteering you have to go there and hang out in case something happens, or how's it work?
I think it depends on where you're at. I can only speak to what I remember and how the guys work that I know that still do that. Kind of everything you just said there. You may have a pager at home, or probably it comes over your cell phone now. Sometimes, and I remember my dad doing that too, 1 or 2 nights a week, just like your father, had to spend the night at the firehouse and be on call. And then there were nights on call, and then there were nights training. So there's a lot of commitment, more than just showing up to pick up the fire truck to take it to the house fire or the medical call. Right. But yeah, I think they do it different ways at different places. But a lot of it's responding from home, or you respond through your phone, like I said now, but it used to be pagers to the firehouse to pick up the fire truck to take it to the emergency is how a lot of that works.
What's the level of stress being a firefighter?
Are we talking volunteers or
No, you.
in
Just
general?
you. Yeah, just you.
If I'm honest with you, I don't
No, don't
feel
be honest.
stressed.
Don't be honest. Just lie.
I don't
and
feel,
make it a really good podcast.
Make a good
yeah,
story.
Yeah, make a good story. Sprinkle in some crazy stuff that no one will believe, and strippers and everything else. Just to make it good.
Yeah, I don't feel stress at the job, and I can't give you an answer to that. I don't say I ever will. But I think it's who you surround yourself with, the crews and the people that you're working with. If we're all on the same page, just rolling out the door. And I think a lot of that has to do with our training too. If we're trained up, and you can't be ready for everything, but you should be able to call an audible to adjust to that situation. And the higher you are trained and practiced, and this is my opinion, the better you are to handle those stressful situations. And that would be the fire scene. And then, of course, you have stresses of the death and the violence that you come across. And I think that goes back to camaraderie in the firehouse, too. The closer a crew is and the way they do things together. We cook together. We hang out during the day. You mentioned playing cards or marbles is a big thing in the firehouse.
Marbles?
Just it's kind of like Trouble or Sequence or something like that. No, more like Trouble, the game of Trouble.
Yeah.
That's a big hit. Guys love that for some reason. But just no
Marbles or Trouble? I don't understand.
Trouble is the old board
click,
game.
Click. It's
very similar to that.
Oh.
So, but it's kind of a spinoff of that. But just playing games, hanging out, cleaning stuff together. But when you're sweating together with people, in training or hard times, I think of a 2 years ago, super super cold, and we were loading hose. Hydrants were frozen. The fire was out up in Westwood, and the district chief made a comment. He's like, "These are the times that bring us closer together. We're all suffering together. We'll pack it up, and we'll thaw out back home." But he's right. When you just working together through the hard times, that just brings you closer together. And I think that drops the stress level a little bit. The tighter the crew, you've been through some things, you see some bad things together. I think the key there, in those stressful situations is to not bottle it up, and we do that, and the police are no different, just usually with some off-color humor. And you always got that one guy. We always did for years. When I was riding in the back seat, he was always quick with low-key guy, but quick with the zingers. Danny he was gifted with it.
Yeah.
Just something to totally blindside you. And now you just saw something, one of the worst things you're ever going to see till the next one. And he's dropping some kind of humor on you, and you're laughing about it. And you go back and you laugh some more. And I think that's how you deal with some of that stress. And like I said, I can't say that I really even realize it. There may be some accumulated stress, but I think the tighter you are as a crew, and that involves cooking together, hanging out together, working out together, and training hard together.
The off-color humor, even if there is such a thing as off-color, at some point I'm going to do some little deal on swearing. So I think we're totally misunderstanding what swearing is, what's quote unquote unwholesome talk, and what isn't in the Bible. But the whole quote unquote off-color humor is a regular thing I find with everybody in the military, especially close to war zone, military, firemen, policemen. It's just a normal thing. Why is that? I don't think it's just a man thing. I have my opinion. I'm curious if you want to validate or enlighten it.
Just a fireman, not a psychologist.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a coping mechanism of some sort, to totally distract you from this god-awful thing you just saw happen to someone or, was done to someone. I can't, you'd have to talk to a doctor about that, but I truly believe it helps. I worry about the crews and the fire service that, they go on that horrible run or something really stressful happen, and then you run back to your bedroom. Now we have cubicles, so it's easy to gravitate back to that quiet space, then get on your phone, and then you ponder on that stuff. The closer the crew is, the better they perform, the better they handle stressful situations. But I think it's just it's a way to cope.
Well, it's a distraction as well in a way that a dad joke isn't.
Right.
Dad jokes are cute, but they don't distract you as much.
Correct.
When back to stress. You don't feel stress when you're at the house. You don't feel stress right now, but there's certain there's certain calls you go on where the stress comes, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I would say there's ones that weigh on you more, but I think it gets diverted by just being close with your crew. And I don't feel like I carry a burden, but it is a real thing. I'm speaking for myself here. We're finding more and more, just like the military, that firefighters and police officers are dealing with this PTSD, and that could rear its head on me at any given time. I'm not saying I'm numb to it or it's not possible, but yeah, it's just I don't feel it. I'm excited to go to work. I don't have anything dragging me down or a burden or a fear hanging over my head or that stress.
Yeah.
But it is a real thing. I know people walking that path that have with PTSD, firefighters, and it's a real thing. I'm just very blessed right now. I don't feel it. I don't feel like I bring home work with me. My wife may tell you differently, but I don't. I think she knows I love my job and things are great at work.
Yeah. So you said certain situations. Is there common situations that are stressful for you that you have to respond to?
Well, I would say, there's times, obviously, that we're all joking around, clowning, and the way the adage goes, the bell hits, we become professional. So yeah, you pull up to a house that's on fire, and God forbid, people trapped. That's going to be a stress, but it's definitely a stress. Or how do we handle this shooting scene with multiple victims? There's a pressure there, but that's what you practice for, mental practice, physical practice for those type things. And I even rehearse things. I tell my guys, I look like a goofball sometimes. They probably don't even know I'm doing it. We'll go to a medical call, and in my mind, I'm sizing up that house as if it's on fire. So a lot of that, and that's just mental practice for me. So you can hopefully have a cool head when you do roll up to those things. Some of that stuff, just a mental checklist, almost rehearsed. And I think that helps with that stress level.
Yeah.
And then another factor is, and I work with great people, great bosses, my coworkers, my driver, he's essentially the sergeant of the company. He handles the other thing. If there's things going on with the back seat or the apparatus, he's kind of the go-to, kind of filters things before it gets, and in some ways, as I've heard it referred to, the driver's kind of your sergeant. But a good working relationship there to where there's calmness in the front seat, and you may be driving to just a terrible report of something. As long as everything's cool here, you get there, the district chief, he's chill. That just sets the tone for everything.
So you don't have a thing before the start of your shift where you go, oh my gosh, I hope we don't have a insert calamity. I hope we don't have a full out fire in a 3-story wood home with kids. Or, oh gosh, I hope today I don't have to carry a overweight person down a flight of steps because they can't breathe. And, oh, I hope today I don't have to give medical attention to a 5-year-old. Or I hope there's not a common one in your mind. You go like, what is it?
Yeah, and that would be the kid runs.
Kid runs.
I think any one of us would tell you the same thing. It's, the SIDS babies or, just those calls, baby choking. You see all different things. If I never make another one of them, I'd be totally fine with that. The other stuff is kind of like if it's dealt our way, we'll figure it out. We'll deal with it, and that's kind of how the fire service is. Like, we'll figure out a way to handle the situation. And a lot of guys, it's more of that off-color mindset, or I think it's just part of being aggressive. Is you want to show up. If there's a fire today, I want to be there.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss it. We're going to find a way to get there if we can, and hopefully we'll get some work out of it. So, but yeah, the baby runs. That's
right.
That's everything else. The shootings and stabbings. There's
right.
That's bad stuff, but it's the kids, and now you're seeing the kids get shot and stuff too. Sadly, they get younger and younger. But
we all kind of say to one degree or another, I've got PTSD over whatever. But for me, when I say PTSD, it's generally like something is pretty darn serene and tame. Like, I've got PTSD over how many Christmas Eve services I got to do.
Right.
I've got PTSD over a really hard season on staff where things are really dysfunctional. And I just, I think that's okay to say that. That's appropriate to say that. But that's we watered down that term, that it's not the same where people like you would feel. So you mentioned one. Just walk us through. I'd like you to walk us through this, not because we want to be macabre here, but because we really don't know. You mentioned SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. So you get a call, you go into the house where a child has just died unexpectedly for no reason, and like walk us through what happens there. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Just paint us the picture of what happens in a scenario like that, and then what you have to actually do, and then we'll get into the afterward part. Just what's that? Most of us have gone, oh, we've heard SIDS, but we haven't thought like, I haven't thought until just now. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's somebody who shows up. What's that scene like? Tell us.
And the sad part of that is if you know it, that it's probably that. And that's even other scenes too, but with the babies, it's just like, let's just get them and work them. They're probably not savable. You can kind of tell.
Mom's walking around with arms in their
families frantic. I mean, those are chaotic situations where you got to stay cool. And our people are good at that. Our coworkers, the guys on my crew.
The baby's blue?
The baby's blue. Then I can speak to a couple that have happened within the last 12 months. But yeah.
Take one of those and walk us through that. What happens?
They call because, baby's been sick. They found him this way. Baby's cold upon arrival. And we know. But the best thing to do for mom, mental health of them, maybe even for the mental health of ourselves, that we're going to give it all we got. Babies are hard. The best people to work on babies are at Children's Hospital. We deal with a lot of cardiac arrests for adults. So we do the basics, and we get the IV started, aggressive CPR, and we just go. It's kind of a grab and go. Get mom in there, explain to them, and we kind of learned that from Children's Hospital too. You got to get the family on board with what's going on. We're doing everything that the hospital would do, and we're just going to get them up there. We're calling the hospital. We're doing this, this, and this, and spelling that out for mom, dad, whoever the family is that's transporting with us. It's depending on the family dynamics, it could be very chaotic on scene. And, you may be calling for police just to calm people down. I can't imagine being on their end of that. I don't know how I would react. God forbid, that would ever happen. So sometimes you just got to secure the scene before you can even effectively help anyone. You have the people that are just kind of losing their mind over the death of, they know, the situation that's going on. So to control that scene, get the child out of there, get them running to the hospital as quick as possible. The way the hospital, you're calling the hospital, you're telling them what you're doing. We take mom or dad or whoever is in charge. Maybe it's grandma or grandpa. They're riding up with us to the hospital. The hospital basically takes over for us.
You're giving CPR while you're not at the house in the bedroom doing CPR and oxygen there.
Not with the baby. It tends to happen a grab and go situation. With adults, they call it stay and play, but you will do your work right there in the room, give them a good, it's 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then you call the ER and get direction at that point. So if we still have a good heart rate, that's something to work with. There's electrical activity on an adult. We will continue working, and we'll decide.
So why are infants different that you take them in immediately instead of?
That's just a decision. Sometimes, like I said, with a SIDS baby, we may know that they're, like I said, a lot of times it's obvious that they're gone. But for the peace of mind of the family, that everybody on the team has done everything possible for your child, let's just snatch and go. And they're a lot easier to carry out and continue CPR. Right. We can get them moving to do that.
Are there any good stories of when you have SIDS and you leave and the baby comes around and is okay? Or is
usually
by
with
the time
SIDS,
you get there,
they've already been deceased. But I'd have, I don't know. I can't think of anything that we've had a success story. But there's been kids where we've helped. A child struck by a car and those type things where those are a whole nother set of calls, of course, that we were able to help people.
So how many guys or firefighters, guys, women, are on a call like a SIDS call? Okay,
so in the city of Cincinnati, we have 4 on all our fire companies. So that would be a ladder truck. I'm on an engine company, the shorter truck with the hose. Ladder is what it is, self-explanatory. And our ambulances have 2. And then we have EMS supervisors. So if it's a known cardiac arrest, child or adult, or a trauma, or a car wreck with entrapment, you're getting this whole team of people, and entrapment brings you a lot more help. But on the EMS run for a cardiac arrest, you're getting 4 on that fire company, 2 on the transport, which will be a paramedic ambulance, and then 1 EMS supervisor.
Okay, so 5.
7 altogether.
7. So for I just want to stay focused on this one scenario.
Baby run, yeah.
So that baby run, there's 7.
Yes.
And how many people are actually seeing the blue child?
Everyone involved.
Everyone involved.
All 7 are involved in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, when that's done, you get them to the get that child to the hospital, drop it off. Then what happens? Like, are you utterly fried emotionally? Have you done this enough times that you got resiliency? It's not as big a deal as the first one. Are you all like, we need to go out and do some beers right now? Are you just all go back and sit in the dark? Do you evade and talk about something else? Do you like what is there a normal pattern those things go?
I think it depends on what the crew needs.
Okay.
In my role now, it's good to check on everybody, especially working with younger guys who have little babies at home. That hits differently to people.
Right.
I hate to say that. I guess you do become jaded a little bit with time on the job and experience to those, but you're never going to be ready for everything. But I haven't had that to where it's really wiped me out, that bad run that's really set me back and question things. But you do have to check on your people. And that's the biggest takeaway. And we've gotten better in the fire service. Mass casualty incident with multiple people shot or whatever the terrible scenario is. Even our staff and our union have been really good with checking in. They may even visit the firehouse. I've seen chiefs come in the firehouse. Everybody good? Anybody need to go home? Anybody need to talk? We'll get you some help. So as a company officer, that's kind of my role too, to oversee that, make sure everybody's good.
Does anyone ever say, yeah, I need to talk?
Yeah.
They do.
I've had that. It wasn't a baby run, and I won't go into too much detail on it, but I had a coworker that was really struggling with the run that we made. A totally different scenario, but a stressful scenario for some. And talked to him. And
why won't you go into it?
HIPAA, and we're in the same town I work in, so
Okay.
without getting into detail, I'd rather not.
I don't need to. The reason I ask probing is because it's one of those jobs where we've colored the books, we've seen things in the movies. I just want to sensitize all of us to some of the real, true, difficult stress that a lot of us have. That's why I'm probing.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. I just can't go into
A lot of you have rather.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was struggling for personal reasons, and there was something that clicked on this call. It was a very tragic scene, and we went back twice to help family because it was still stressful for them, and got to talking with the guy. And yeah, you're free to go home. All I got to do is tell my boss, hey, and offer help. There's people and things in place to get those folks help. But first, oddly enough, this is the first time at work that I ever prayed with a guy, and it was over that situation. I could tell he was carrying a burden. I don't know his faith background, but he said he did pray, and we put our arms around each other because I knew he was struggling. I could see that. He told me, and that was a cool experience.
Yeah.
To be able to do that with a coworker, and hopefully help him. He's doing good now. We see each other from time to time. And he got appropriate help and time with family.
Yeah. That's an aggressive move right there. Manly man asks somebody if you can pray for him. I don't know that I've ever met anybody who didn't say, yeah, fine, if you want to. Even if they're dismissive. I mean, everyone appreciates your heart behind doing that. That's good for you. That's an aggressive move.
Or not.
Yeah, right. They know you're trying to express love and concern and compassion, and a percentage of them know that there's a percentage of likelihood that this actually might work and might break something.
Right.
So as you go through this sort of this progression of things that could give you true PTSD, is there anything that you found that keeps you healthy and sane? What's your personal rhythms of just being a human being and not being defined by the gore or the tragedy or the heartbreak?
Number one would be faith. I mean, who's a better therapist than Jesus? So prayer, faith, family. I have a good, solid family. Everybody's plugged in at church. My boys are all believers and baptized. Wife, of course, as well. So to come home to a solid family,
Right.
Which I had growing up, so that foundation was laid by my parents, believers and church-going people, and so I've been surrounded by that my whole life, and I think I know that's what carries me through. I don't feel a stress at work. I can't give you an answer why I don't. I'm not going to say again that will never happen, but having a strong, stable household is a big deal, and then also the people I'm working with. You know, that if everybody works together, like I told you before, we work together, we sweat together, we're a team together, and it's overused, but the whole family thing. But it's a tight crew that gets you through the tough stuff too.
Anything else you lean into as far as friendship rhythms or hobbies or anything like that is helpful for you?
To blow off steam,
Yeah,
or if you want to call it that,
or just to be a healthy human being,
exercise, of course. I wish I was more aggressive, more days of the week, but I try to get my couple days a week in. I'm sure that's helpful. That's just all around better for you to get some cardio and blow off some energy. And
they gotta have weight equipment at the firehouse.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. Every firehouse has a cardio equipment, weight equipment, and things like that. And I got it at home too, so there's really no excuse for for missing.
Well, you look like you're fit.
But I try.
I allow you to carry me down. Carry dirt anyway.
I might drag you. I don't know if I carry you.
You can carry dirt down the steps. That'd be fine.
Oh, that'd be easier.
Put dirt right in your pocket, right down there with all the pocket lint. Dirt be right at home down in there. Poor dirt. Physical requirements. What's the physical requirements to become a fireman?
We do have obviously there's a physical standard or test coming on the fire department. So you have to pass that along with first our process, and every department's a little bit different. It's physical agility. You take the written, you take the physical agility, then there's psychological, and then there's an interview. So there's quite a process to even get hired by the fire department.
Yeah.
So my opinion, I think that test could be a little bit harder. But that's just my opinion.
It's an 8-minute mile and 20 push-ups, or what kind of stuff?
And it changes sometimes from class to class or testing process. There's stair climbs, there's ladder carries, rope pulls simulating you're extending a ladder, dragging hose, moving equipment in a certain time frame from point A to point B, heavy fire extinguishers, things like that.
Ladder carry, you're carrying weight up a ladder?
You would be pulling, the last one I recall, you're pulling a rope, simulating you're extending that extension ladder.
Okay.
And there's been some where you actually carry a ladder a certain distance. Like I said, I have not been involved with that process anytime recently, so I know it's morphed and changed into some other things.
I would think there'd be something about carrying somebody on your shoulder or dragging somebody.
There is. They'll put a weighted vest on you too. I left that out. So to go through all those test stations, a lot of times you are carrying, you're wearing a 40-pound vest to do that as well, to simulate some of the weight that we carry. Usually with the whole, as my driver would say, fireman costume, it weighs about 75 pounds, and that's with the clothing and the air tank, not carrying any additional equipment.
No weighted vest, just your general equipment, 75 pounds.
Right, the heavy, the coat, and the pants, boots, helmet, and then the air tank, or SCBAs, of course.
Right.
So it runs right around 75.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, 75 pounds, and then you may need to drag somebody to safety.
Right, or carry hose to whatever. Yeah, carry equipment to a certain place, that type of thing. So,
are the requirements the same for men and for women?
Yes,
they are.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you said you wish they were more difficult, has there been changing of things so that women can?
I would even go back and say, back when I came on, they could have been more difficult.
It was not a woman thing. It was just we all are generally getting softer and softer, making things easier.
Yeah, that's probably in some ways. And what I wish we would see is, and other departments do this, State Highway Patrol, Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, they have every year you have to qualify. So, I even with 30 years, almost 29 years on the job, I should have to qualify to meet a certain standard. We've not done that yet. Hopefully that'll come, and that's just for our own benefit. Number one killer of firefighters is heart attacks. So the best thing we can do is make sure our people are in shape.
I was down at an event in downtown Cincinnati, a year and a half or so ago. Danger Wheel, buddy of mine, 512 runs it. You ever hear of Danger Wheel? You know what Danger Wheel is?
Is that when they roll off the bridge or into the water?
No, they have like hardcore big wheels with aluminum frames. They take in Pendleton down the street.
Okay, that other way.
Right. They've got it's lined with bales of straw, and they've got concessions there and beer trucks, and and they're racing and going over ramps and jacking each other. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
But I was the last one, and there was two. I think it was firemen, or not firemen. I think it was police officers. I looked at these guys, going, "My word! If something happened, you had to run a block. You could not do it. There's no way you could not do it." And I have a hard time believing that they were able to get on the force initially. But I just thought, as a citizen, I just don't feel safe when there's dudes who haven't taken care of themselves. When you're there to take care of me, and you literally cannot take care of me. If something happens to me and you got to run a block, you can't do it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't know what that is. I don't know if we're afraid of standards or we're I know it is for all of us as men and women. The older you get, the harder it is to stay on top of your game.
Sure.
I understand that entirely.
Age catches up with you.
Man, but I just got done with an elk hunt that was, in many regards, a horrible experience because it was so. Are you a hunter at all?
No.
Oh my gosh, it was. I say horrible. It looks great on Instagram. I don't even. Have we even posted anything on Instagram about that, Dirt? Are we doing that?
Yeah, I think we did.
We did?
Yeah.
Okay. But took a 3.5 hour horse ride up to base camp, which was a canvas outfitter tent at 11,000 feet. And it sounds really cool, except if you're not a rider and your knees aren't used to bending that way in the stirrups, then you get out. You're just, and then you're 11,000 feet, and then the whole rest of the time you're getting up at 4:30 in the morning to get yourself in position at sunrise, wherever it is. So you're taking then a horse again, and then you're hiking probably the last 1,000 feet in elevation up to where you're going to get up to glass to take binoculars and see everything, and then you're sleeping on the mountain. Hopefully you have sun. You're sleeping there because then they go in during the high noon, and you're sleeping on the mountain, and then you're waking up at say 3 o'clock. Hopefully they come out of the timbers and you can shoot them. Hopefully. It's actually elk hiking, not elk hunting.
Right.
And then, but every time I went back to camp, every single time I had my headlamp on. So you're leaving camp in dark, you're coming back in dark, and it's rinse and repeat at 4:30 the next morning. And it's brutal, man. And I'm used to living at, what is Cincinnati, like 700 feet above sea level, or is it less?
Yeah.
70 maybe even, whatever it is. It's not a lot. So
There's a little thinner. Yeah.
You get me in Denver, mile high at 5,200 feet. Yeah. You're going to feel it.
Sure.
Pro football teams feel it. You get to 11,000, 13,000 feet, you feel like, you are working. You feel so weak. You feel like a weaning boy. It's tough. And all back to our original thing. I'm not saying I'm some God's gift to physical specimen. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, every time I'm on a hunt like that or have an experience like that, I go, okay, let's remember this because I now have incentive to work out. There's
Right.
You go to the average gym working out, like those dudes, the most buff in there, most of them, they never use their muscles other than on the machines.
Right.
They're not dropping a motorcycle and have to pick it up. They're not skiing or cross-country skiing. They're not name any hiking or hunting or just name it. I mean, we have this thing where like I'm creating like good wall art with 19-inch biceps.
But is it functional? Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Because it never has to function that way.
Right.
That's a long way around saying, man, if I was in a job where my life would daily be on the line, or somebody else's life would be in the line, and it's directly proportional to my cardiovascular ability and shedding weight, I would be even more workout fit. I don't understand how that can be and how we can allow that.
Yeah. I agree. I can't speak on behalf of the city or whoever makes those decisions, but yeah, that's a personal thing. You got to kind of own that on your own, and I feel the same way. Yeah. I love that adage, and I'm ripping this off of somebody I follow on Instagram or whatever, but do you want you coming to rescue you or your family? That just kind of keeps it in perspective. You know, am I willing and ready? We do a thing with our crew, and I'm very proud of them because my driver, who's probably wouldn't be in the building, he suits up every time, but we have a 15-story. That's our tallest building up in Westwood. And we got to be ready. It's come in on fire before, and the elevators are out. So can we make 15 floors with our 75 pounds, with our extra hose, and make that, and then still be effective?
That's
and
a lot.
Every one of the company members on my crew can do it. We do it 4, 5, 6. We do it on 9/11, and we don't do it at 9/11. We do it 4 times, 60 floors. Still not the 110 of the World Trade Center.
Okay,
but
let's back up here. Hold on. So this is a ritual we have.
This is a regular training.
9/11.
If we do it on 9/11, we do some more reps with that.
Tell us again what it is.
But it just fires on 15, and we got to get up there. The elevators are out, and my guys are good. It's not fast. It's not a race, and we always talk about that. You got to have something left when you get up there.
15
floors,
stories,
and that's not the tallest building in the city.
Right.
So we got to keep
15
that in mind.
stories would be 30 flights of stairs, probably.
No, 30. Yeah, 30,
there's a flight,
runs.
a landing.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at.
So 30
floors.
flights of stairs, 30 runs of stairs with 75 pounds on you.
Plus they're carrying hose and a tool bag and
it's
the
hot.
other things that go with it.
Wow.
So,
Dang.
but and then there's days we just go up there to hike, and we'll do 3 or 4, not for 9/11, but just for, it's a workout, it's training. But
you
again,
do it
my crew,
to commemorate 9/11?
We make sure we do it on 9/11.
Okay.
On or around, depending on our work day. But throughout the year, we go up there and just, those people are probably tired of seeing us. But yeah, we make that, you know, I got to be, in my mind, our crew's got to be able to make that top floor.
Right.
That's our first in building. And like I said, it's happened before. We show up and the elevators are out. Maybe it's the elevator penthouse or top floor apartment. So we got to be ready to do that. And that's kind of that mindset, like, can we do that? Are we physically ready? And our guys are great at that.
I knew some friends who did a thing going to, I'm not ever gonna climb a mountain. I mean, I'll climb a mountain to possibly kill something, but just, there's a mountain, I'm gonna climb it. It's just good for you, but no, not for me. But they had a bunch of dudes we're gonna climb Mount Rainier, which is the largest summit in the continental U.S. And, you know, guys just knew it was coming, but they just wouldn't train for it, and they just got tapped out. Like, no, you're done. You go all the way over there, have all that time you spent for the guide, all that. Guide just looks at you. You're not going up. You're not going up. You're staying right here. And I just go, I can't imagine I would sign up for a trip and pay for a trip and not prepare for it. And at the same time, I can't imagine you'd sign up for public service and a physically demanding job and not show up for it. You know, it's, wow. I don't know why I'm hanging out here. I guess I'm hung up on it because maybe we have some people in those areas that maybe it's a little nudge for you. Maybe you're in a job where someone's life literally depends on you. And maybe for the rest of us too, just have unbelievably sedentary lifestyles. Are you as capable as you could be physically? Are you able and ready to do what you need to do? You just don't know it. It's a different thing when you think about being physically competent for an important reason instead of, well, my doctor says I had to,
I need to be more active.
Be more active. It's a different thing. Just basic little things I'm always curious about. Mm-hmm. Do you have a second career you're working? Because aren't you on like 3 days off 4, on 4, off 3 or something like that?
We are on 1, off 2.
Okay.
With a Kelly Day system. And again, most of the fire departments around here have some form of it. A Kelly Day, it's kind of hard to explain. So I'm working every 3rd day. My Sunday, I have a Sunday Kelly day, so that's a fixed day for me. When my cycle comes up every 3 weeks, when my crew is working on Sunday, I'm off. My driver has a Monday. The Roughnecks, the guys in the back, that's an old river turn, which is kind of cool. Came from our river town, but from laborers from the old river days, they're called Roughnecks. They have a Thursday, Friday, and a Saturday Kelly day. So when that cycle hits every 3 weeks, they don't work that day. So every 3 weeks, you get 5 days off. So that gives you time to pick up another career, or be a stay-at-home dad. Did a lot of that. Allowed my wife to go to school, and now allows her. She's took a career change, and now she opened up a little home decor and boutique in Harrison, Ohio, and I'm there to help her with that. Yeah. Looking forward into retirement. I don't know if Caleb shared with you, but I have
Caleb?
Dirt.
Oh, Dirt. Yeah,
sorry. I have probably the most unusual side job of any fireman. A lot of guys do roofing, they landscaping, or mow lawns. If the wife's staying at home, that does give you time to support the family in other ways. But I've been a ventriloquist since age 10.
I did see that in the notes that Dirt gave me.
And that has been my off-day job for a while.
He's been ventriloquisting the entire time. I keep looking over outside the door because I think he's over there.
Throwing my voice?
Yeah, right.
He thought Dirt was talking. So that's why I'm kind of ramping things up. My mom's, she's retired from marketing, and she's been helping me the last year or so trying to get back from COVID. Obviously, that wiped out events, but now companies are starting to do events and things again, having awards, banquets. And
so how do you make money from being a ventriloquist?
It's event entertainment. For years I did it. Like, I never worked a real job in high school or anything. I was doing shows for churches and Knights of Columbus and birthday parties. But about 20 years ago, in fact, I performed here. I was trying to think of that on the way here, probably 20 years ago for an event for kids down in the main lobby, 15 to 20 years ago. But I kind of took a spin in another direction. It was kind of like, do you want to do kids work or adult work? And I love the adult business setting. They appreciate the improv a whole lot more, the quick-witted stuff. So just going after, associations, banquets, meetings, appreciation nights, company parties, those type of things. And that's kind of what I've gotten into, and just trying to build that up before I retire here in a couple more years, 4 years, 5 years.
I have a guy who is, I don't think married. He's been a very steady boyfriend of my my cousin, who is a Pittsburgh firefighter.
Okay.
And what he did, I think he's retired now, he's having some back problems. Jim is his name. What he did was, on his off days, he bought and rehabbed houses.
Okay.
And did real well for himself.
Yeah.
Because, the house is just sitting there, and then when you get to it, you get to it. On your days off. He did a really good job with that. It was
There's
good.
a couple brothers on our job do the same thing. And then they got a team of other firemen, because if they're all off on the same day, it kind of works. Like, hey, next 2 days we're hitting this house, and we're, one guy's a district. Well, both of them are district chiefs, the two brothers. They're in business together, and they flip houses.
They flip houses, and they pay guys hourly to work on their houses then?
Yeah. And they'll be there with them. They don't just supervise, but they got their own team of, most of them are all other firefighters that work with them. Oh,
that's cool. So when you're installing those fire detectors, hey, fire detectors suck. Can we be serious about that? I got a bone to pick with you, or maybe you can talk me off the ledge. Those freaking wire detector things that are wired,
false, aren't they?
They're always breaking. The freaking batteries go out in the middle of the night. They're false alarms. I'm going, gosh, sue me. You guys be more upset about this than my last joke I told. Like, I just disconnect them.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they get, they don't, in the areas we run, the landlord's not coming.
No.
Property management's in Chicago somewhere, in New York City. So no one's coming out to fix it. They just disconnect them.
And this, I'm from a guy who's been in a legitimate house fire too.
Have you?
I don't know if that's part of my story.
At your own home?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He's getting all excited now.
Yeah.
He's going, really?
I'm upset I wasn't there. That's all.
Like, what? Did you have an infant in a crib? He's all excited about.
No kids.
No, there was kids. No, so
really?
My story was, it was between Christmas and New Year's, one of the coldest evenings of the year in Pittsburgh was in 1991. And we didn't, I'm doing youth ministry at church and I'm going to seminary. We didn't have a pot to piss in. And my Lib's aunt and uncle had a little house on an acre of land in a place called Bradford Woods. And Lib tells the stories that she pulled in one night and just cute little vinyl siding house on an acre of land. And there was a fire going inside. And she was like, I'm never going to leave this place. And because we also didn't think we would ever, on my salary, she was a stay-at-home mother, we'd ever have enough money for a down payment, own our own home. It's funny how you limit yourself when you're in your 20s. You just think it's something not possible, and then it does. But we were having a fire downstairs, and then we went to bed, and we think what happened was our dog, our Rottweiler Magnum, woke me up, and
because your smoke detector was unplugged.
Oh, we didn't have smoke detectors.
Right, that's before the hardwire.
Yeah, they had no smoke detector. Yeah. If we did, it was unplugged. I don't know we had them there at all. But
so you had kids in the house. Your kids were there too?
Yeah, I had I'm going to say a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Okay.
And so woke up and it was just smoke everywhere. Didn't make us gag. It was like a mist. Went up and, I put my underwear on backwards. At that point, I slept in my birthday suit. So I put my underwear on backwards, and I scooped up the kids out of the cribs, and then we ran right next door, and we knocked on the door and woke them up, and Ed and Elaine Eck, and we went to next door, called 911, obviously, and actually we didn't call 911, which we wanted to. That service wasn't available in that part of town.
You had to call a 7-digit number.
Yes, and they helped us walk through that. And we watched from their kitchen window, fire spread from one room to the next, all the way through. And went back the next day, and the phone that we had called from or tried to call from, the floor was gone, and the phone was on the other part of the floor with the cord all the way gone. Because when I came down with the kids, we had this old house, these pine floorboards, and I could hear and see in between the floorboards the flame. It was this quiet rage. It was terrifying. And the worst part of the whole thing was that our dog, who woke us up, Magnum, died in the fire.
Did not get out. Really?
Did not get out, which I guess that's normal. Dogs go, wake up my masters. And then they don't think, if I get outside, it's fresh air. Is that pretty common?
Yeah, they go hide. It seems like animals will hide before they try to escape.
Yeah,
out of fear. That seems to be the common reaction.
And it was with him. It was horrible. So I went back the next day and buried him. It was the first time I just openly sobbed as an adult. Burying your dog. I wasn't equipped for that. And that also kind of showed how I really hadn't had that much pain and turmoil in my life, that I lost a dog, and it just kind of shattered my world when I was 27 or something like that? But so that was the thing. And as it turned out, it was a real blessing for us in a strange way, because people rallied. We didn't have any renter's insurance either. So we were literally penniless and clothingless and had nothing to our name in that account, and no possessions whatsoever. It was all gone. And the body of Christ, God's people, rallied around us. People giving us money, people giving us clothes, people bringing over their Christmas gifts they hadn't opened yet. They're really nice clothes, bringing those over and giving those things to us. And it was amazing. And then the other piece of it that was interesting is Lip thought many times, we both said, man, we're never leaving here. This is great. And God said, oh, that's what's going to take you to follow the plan I have for your life? Okay, I'm just going to take that house away right now. There you go.
Yeah.
Now you're not going to put a limit on how I'm going to use you or where I'm going to use you.
We make plans and he laughs, they say.
That's right. That's
so
right.
True.
So, so all back to the smoke detector. I've been through one. I got out fine. Unless I'm on a 6th floor, I'm going to get out of the freaking house.
Hopefully.
I've only had a 2-floor.
Yeah.
Wake up. Okay, so you're saying that okay, that's good. That's good. That's what I'm talking like. That's a real pro. So you're saying if I don't have a dog and I don't have a fire detector, I'm not going to wake up as quickly, and then I'm screwed because the smoke's too thick and everything.
Correct. That's generally what happens.
Okay.
Yeah. They say you don't smell. Your nose doesn't work very well. Your senses are not. You're not smelling things while you sleep. So, people think, the smoke will wake me up. And rarely is there a sound enough because the smoke gets people before the fire does. So your dog saved your family would be my my guess.
All right. Damn. Now I got to go home and get batteries and hook those things up.
Yeah, you better.
That's why you have pros on the aggressive life. That's when okay. Okay, well, let me just bitch about this. Whoever makes those things, you suck.
Okay, that's fair.
You got to make a better product. This is just
we have to wake up at night to go take the battery out or do whatever we got to do when they call for us.
Yes, so give me an early warning sign of give me a pink light or something or so yellow. And then not only that, sometimes you replace the battery. They're just bad. The whole unit itself just goes bad.
Correct.
You replace it, every 5 years or something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know what
10 years, I think it's supposed to be, but they go bad before then.
Nuts. All right. So, all that to say, what do you want to talk about that we haven't talked about?
I don't know. You have more on your list, didn't you? I'm trying to think.
I don't follow Dirt's list. I look at it. I look at it just because I pay the guy, and he's got to justify his amazing brain. But I don't go by the list.
Okay. He had a good list. He did a good job. Yeah.
He did. Yes.
So we had a good talk.
Maybe you were going to tell us, boys and girls, put the batteries in your fire detectors, and I just took that from you. Is there anything else?
No, I have no words of wisdom there. I love what I do. I couldn't do anything else. I think I'll share this because your whole show is being aggressive. And like I said, I teach at an outside school in Indianapolis. It's an amazing place. People come from all over the world to go there for these classes. So the instructors come from all over. So I've just learned a great amount from them. But one of the guys that he's retired from New York City, older gentleman. Bob's very wise, just to absorb from people at that level. We're a busy department, but you compare it to other places, there's other people getting more work than we are, for sure. It's hit and miss on pockets of the city that are getting more fires, but to be able to feed off of these people. And a guy asked him in a podcast, what do you think it's about? What does it look like to be an aggressive fireman? And, I'm thinking the same thing as the guy on the radio show. He says, to be quick out the door, when those bells hit, literally at fast companies, you drop what you're doing and you're running because you make up time to get out the door. That's your aggressive part right there. It's just getting out the door. You can only do so much on the road because it's driving and driving conditions and people dictate that. And then once you get there, how well do you perform the tactics and the skills needed? But Bob's so he's thinking all these things. Well, being quick on stretching the hose. And Bob said, "What? Isn't it just being well practiced? As being aggressive?" I thought it is that simple, really. If you're well practiced, all that stuff that you've worked on is going to come even quicker and get you in the door even faster. I just thought that was a good bit of wisdom. Bit of wisdom. I'm probably not paraphrasing that correctly, but that's what he was getting at is, if you're well practiced and well trained, that's the aggressive part. Because now you're going to be more ready when you show up. You're going to be quicker to do your job. And I'm speaking on the fire side of things, of course. And we're going to get in the door maybe before the other line. So I thought that was a neat takeaway that maybe I'd throw out here because it's true. The more prepared you are, and that goes from physical conditioning, like you touched on, ready to do the job physically, to your training and the crew camaraderie, how tight that crew is, how well trained that crew is. That's all aggression. That's going to get you in that door and hopefully get that fire out quicker than maybe some other companies or crews.
Is being well practiced transferable to other parts of your life beyond the fire department?
I think so. It's a discipline. It's a structure.
How are you well practiced in your family?
Just having family time, and that's harder as they get older. But we do go. Even the two oldest are married. We go to the same church together. Having discipline of prayer time around the dinner table.
There you go.
Things like that. I do lack some discipline, and like I said, I wish I worked out more. My brother's there at the gym 5 days a week. I wish I could get a couple, and I could. I
Well,
shouldn't say I
you
wish.
look capable to me, though.
But
no one would look at you.
But you could
and go
always
like,
be
"Geez,
better.
you
You know,
couldn't
that's like
walk."
anything. We don't want to settle for what we got. We should be striving.
Yeah.
We're better than we were, but not as good as we could be,
Yeah.
type thing. But
Yeah.
I don't know if that answered what you were
It
looking
does.
for.
No, you're
but,
right. Well practiced. I think of having your family meals together as a family if you're married. Practice like knowing what your prayer schedule is. When and where do you pray? I know the Bible says to pray at all times without ceasing, and that's true. Be in constant awareness of God and talking with God. But there's got to be a solo dedicated time when you are just before God, trying to hear from Him, talking to Him maybe through a laundry list of things. There's got to be well practiced. This is how I read the Bible. This is when I read the Bible. Well practiced. Like this is, you mentioned church. It's stunning to me how many people are frustrated with their faith and don't feel God. And they also don't feel a compulsion to practice their faith by actually going to a place where someone's putting a spiritual agenda on you, where there is a worship service planned.
Right.
You know, like, wow, interesting. You don't feel God because you don't do anything God to practice actually encountering
Everything
God.
He's calling for.
Right.
Yeah.
It's these are called the spiritual disciplines. People don't like that word because it sounds like it's just not a fun thing. But hey, it is what it is.
And I don't want to say I got it all together. I mean, you know, the enemy's constantly trying to distract you. You had Joby Martin on the other day. I listened to that. I follow him all the time. But his big thing was and he's quoting somebody else, I believe, but if the devil can't make you sin, he's going to make you busy. And that's such a distraction for prayer, you know, and some of those disciplines and reading the Bible and things. So
yes,
it does take structure, and you got to put your mind to it. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Well, Danny, this has been great. Thanks for opening up your life and your schedule and your occupation to us. We all just have our hats off for everybody who's in your line of work that puts his life in the form of service and literally put your life online more so than the rest of us do in occupations like mine or Dirt's or whomever. So
definitely serving in other ways. Everybody's got their field.
Yes, we
know that in the field of ministry and their own work.
Yeah.
Sure.
Good word. And that's what everyone says who's healthy like you. We appreciate it. But don't take away the compliment here that we all recognize and we're thankful for the sacrifice you made and that you actually make for us personally. So thanks, brother.
Sure. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Anything, you want to point somebody to anything? Is there a social media account? Is there a book you have coming out? Is there a website? Is there anything?
The website, I'll go to my side business and direct any people there. Again, I don't do kids things anymore, but everything is clean corporate work. And it's just my name. It's dennybaker.com. And you can email me through that if you're interested in any of that type of entertainment for anything you're looking for.
dennybaker.com.
It's that simple.
Hey, that's it, everybody. Hey, there's something here for you today. I don't know what it is. Denny's idea of the practicing, that could be it. Maybe Denny modeling a second job or a quote-unquote side hustle, a way to earn money for yourself, get to a new place. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's where our little diatribe we had on not being competent and not being equipped. There's something here. This, again, is not the interesting occupations life. This is the aggressive life because we just want to equip you to do something. And maybe it's like me, I got to fix those freaking fire detectors.
Yeah, get those up.
That's what I'm doing. We'll see you next time
Tonight
on The Aggressive Life. Thanks for joining us on this journey toward aggressive living. Find more resources, articles, past episodes, and more at briantome.com. My new book, a 60-day devotional called The 5 Marks for Man, 60 Days to a Powerful Life, along with all the other books in the 5 Marks library, are open right now on Amazon. Be sure to leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcast. Then send an email to Dirt, that's Dirt, at briantome.com to get a free Aggressive Life sticker. Find more on Instagram at Brian Tome. The Aggressive Life is a production of Crossroads Church, Cincinnati, Ohio.